I'm going to start off with a somewhat embarrassing but truly phenomenal story about a Christmas experience that I had. My name is Dr. Christian Flynn, and you've probably heard how meditation helps you to de-stress, calm yourself down, and to focus. But in this video, I'm going to explain how meditation helps you do more. It helps you to be in control of your emotions and your thoughts. So the story starts out, I am just on the border of Texas and southern Arkansas. And I drove from there all the way to southern Maine where my parents lived, and it was a 19-hour drive. And I arrived at 2 a.m. in the morning on the day of Christmas Eve. So that morning when my mom woke up, she was thrilled to see me. She was so excited, and she asked, "Can I take a picture of you and send it to my friends and my family as my Christmas gift?" So I said, "Yeah, of course." So she starts taking some photos, and then she says, "Oh, can I put a bow on you, so you're like the present?" I said, "Yeah." And so she's taking pictures, and now she's starting to get more into this, almost like a photo shoot. "Oh, let's wrap you up in ribbon, and let's wrap you up with Christmas wrapping paper." And she was just getting so into it, and I was starting to feel a little controlled, and I had this incredible experience that all of a sudden, time stood still. And I remember I said to myself these exact words in this exact way. I said, "Wow, I'm starting to get really pissed off right now." It was just like that. And it was like I could see this emotion flowing into my consciousness, into my experience, but I wasn't experiencing it. And that I had this whole thought process in one moment. It was literally like time stood still, and I thought about all the different angles, all the different ways that I could deal with me being angry and not wanting to do this photo shoot anymore. And so I thought, and I decided that, this has nothing to do with my mom. Like, I could sit her down and say, "Mom, I don't want you controlling me," and have this whole son-mother dynamic thing going on. And I decided, I can change myself, but I can't change anyone else. So let me just work on myself. And so all of a sudden it was like time in, and then the whole outside situation like unfroze and came back to life. And I calmly and kindly just expressed to her that I was done with the photo shoot and was so happy to be there and be her present. And we connected and everything was great. There was no issue. So what meditation can help you to do is to disidentify with your thoughts and your emotions. It's like, here's your thought or emotion, and then there's some space in between it and your reaction to it. It can be experienced kind of like this. There's a river, and it's full of leaves, and the leaves are just flowing down river. The river represents our situations in life, and the leaves represent our reactions to it, our thoughts and our emotions. And it's just like the saying that we can't control what happens to us. We can only control our reactions to it. So meditation helps you to swim to the riverbank and pull yourself up and sit down. You cross your legs and you relax and you look out and you just watch. You see these situations in life and you see your reactions to them. And that's what was happening to me. In that moment, I was all of a sudden removed from the situation. I was removed from the river. And I was sitting outside of it watching. And I was able to choose. I was able to see all the leaves that were there. And those were options. Those were ways that I could deal with the situations. And being a human in the world, we can't just sit back on the river all the time and not deal with anything. We can't just be disassociated from our thoughts and our emotions all the time and just never express ourselves, never have any input. We have to jump back into the river and become one of those leaves so that we can do things in the world. But the beauty of this experience is that now you know that you can sit back on that riverbank. You can choose to generate specific emotions that you want to experience. You can choose to have the most helpful thoughts that will serve you the best in certain situations. So you have now this experience of being able to take a step back and not be so emotionally invested into something. Most of the time we're just that leaf without any control or any idea that we're helplessly just floating downriver. With no awareness that there are other leaves or other ways of being that we can experience life, thoughts and emotions, or our focus is so narrow. Our identification is just with that thought, that emotion, the feeling, the image, and we're not in a state of awareness or control until we reach that state of observation where we are sitting back on the riverbank again, and then we can choose how we want to be. We can see all the options. We can see there's anger, there's frustration, there's envy, there's jealousy, there's rage, there's kindness, there's calmness, there's composure, there's compassion. All those ways of being are available to us all the time. We just have to have the awareness that they're there. And when we have the awareness and we can choose, which leaf we want to send down the uncontrollable river of life, we have to do that because we can't stay disassociated forever. We have to act, just like I did with my mom trying to wrap me up as a Christmas present. In that moment, I was becoming angry, and if I wasn't aware of that, and I wasn't aware of the other options, I would have just really gotten angry. But instead, I was able to choose kindness, calmness, and compassion in that moment, and was able to have an experience of connection with my mom instead of an experience that was going to create friction and problems. And as I always say, one of the most beautiful things about meditation is it spills over into the rest of your life outside of your meditation practice. It's just like if you do some strength training. It's not going to help you only to lift weights. It's going to help you to carry the groceries in, to shovel the walkway, to rearrange your furniture. And so as meditation spills over into your daily life, all of a sudden you're getting angry and you find yourself sitting on the riverbank and you're just watching an angry leaf go down river. And you might say to yourself, oh look, there's anger. Or as I said, wow, I'm getting really pissed off right now. But you can even get to the point where it's not even I'm getting pissed off, it's there's anger. Where you actually really see it, where it's not a part of you. It's just an experience that comes and goes. It's not who you are. You're not an angry person. There's just anger there. And you can even ask more into it. Why do I always get angry in this situation? Where does that come from? Or maybe you have a different experience and you ask, why does that always embarrass me? Or why am I afraid of that? Why am I not in control over the way that I feel? Now, I'm taking this a step further than just freedom from your emotional reactions and going into why the emotions are even there in the first place. And you don't have to do this. You don't have to go that far. You can use meditation for whatever you want to use it for. But if you're having this experience where you can hold an emotion out at a distance without experiencing it, it's a massive opportunity to look at it, to inspect it, and to ask where it comes from. Because it came from somewhere. It has a purpose. It's trying to tell you something. So maybe you're looking at anger and you ask, where does this anger come from? Why does this make me angry? And you inspect it and you find that the anger actually comes from this desire to be special. And you look at that and you find that this desire to be special comes from a rejection you had a long time ago. And this rejection caused you a lot of pain. And in that moment, you made this subconscious vow to be extraordinary, to be unique and exceptional, so you never had to feel the pain of being rejected again. But you can't control being rejected. So if you do get rejected in life, that doesn't align with that subconscious vow you made, and you get really angry in that moment. And now you're just that angry leaf, floating down the river with no control. You're just subject to whatever happens in life. And we probably all felt that way, that we weren't in control of our lives at some point in our life. And here, if we're focusing on controlling our life outside, we'll never feel in control because we're not in control of what happens to us. So instead of having our focus be on controlling what's on the outside, we need to focus we can control, which is our thoughts and emotions, what's on the inside. Then you'll feel in control because you're in control over how you feel. And that's really when we feel in control, because we can't control what's going on the outside. In that moment of being out of control, angry because someone rejected you, you're just that angry leaf floating down the river. And what's actually happening at that moment is you're expressing the psychological level of development that you were at that age when you got hurt. Have you seen this before? Adults at any age acting like children because they haven't dealt with that pain, and then now it's buried so far down. Or adults acting like rebellious teenagers. It's because they haven't developed past that stage. They're stuck because there's something they're avoiding, something they're not willing to accept about their life, and then transcend it, to move on and to grow past that stage of development. So in meditation or out of meditation, if you're aware enough, you can go into those experiences and inquire into them. But you don't have to. You can go as far as you want. You could just sit on the riverbank and just enjoy the freedom and the relief that comes from disassociation with your thoughts, your emotions, your images, and even your senses. Maybe you've heard people say, I have a body, I'm not a body. I have a mind, I'm not my mind. I have emotions, I'm not my emotions. That's the experience that they're talking about. But to live in the world, you have to swim in that river, and you can't control it. But you can control how you navigate it. And when you've had an experience where you can see your emotions without actually experiencing them, like I did, it felt like I was split in two. There was me, and I knew it was me, feeling angry. And then there was this other me that was also me, thinking and talking to myself just like I am now. It was just my normal me, saying and observing the angry me, saying, wow, look at him, he's so angry. But that was also me, but I wasn't identified with the me that was experiencing anger. I was identified with the me that was observing it, but I knew that was me as well. It was it's hard to really even describe. But when you've had an experience like that, now you know there's more possibilities for how you can experience life. So the riverbank in the metaphor represents consciousness, or another word for it is awareness. And consciousness is the container for our experience of life. It contains our experience to be alive. Right? Without consciousness, there's no life. You can have a body, but if there's no consciousness in it, there's no experience of life. So when you're sitting on the riverbank, you're experiencing life from a state of awareness itself, instead of experiencing life identified with that individual thought or feeling, which are just the leaves floating down the river. So from this point of view, this is how you're able to disassociate with your thoughts and your emotions, to not be controlled by them, but to sit back and look at the infinite possibilities of how you can experience life, how you can think and feel and act, and then choose one. So you're in control. And if you meditate consistently, or you just be as observant as you possibly can, you'll start to get into this state of observation, being able to observe how you feel instead of just feeling it and not being in control. You get into this state of awareness. And from there, you get to choose how you want to experience life. Hey, it's Doc Christian. Thank you for watching this video. And if you would do me a favor, please hit the like button below and subscribe to my channel. Also, feel free to leave a comment so we can connect with each other and post any questions you have, because these questions will help me to make better videos that are more personalized for you, because after all, these videos are for you. And lastly, please share this video with anyone you think that might enjoy it or gain some benefit from it or get something out of it. Because you can always be the catalyst for change in someone's life, and you never know what the tipping point for the change will be. So never limit your ability to share. And thank you again for watching this video.